Hey everyone, it's Rob from the ProWresBlog here, www.prowresblog.blogspot.com. Hey, today we're going to talk about the hot news, which has been, will Kenny Omega go to the WWE? I thought this was some interesting news. I'm not really surprised by it because, WWE has been trying to steal New Japan's talent, and they actually did last year when they raided Nakamura, AJ Styles, Doc, Anderson, and to a degree Kota Ibushi. So I mean, it's clear that WWE sees a threat in New Japan. I don't think New Japan's gonna like knock them off or anything, but New Japan is clearly catching some fire here, and they're definitely getting some. They're getting some interest. They're making some money, and the world is starting to open up to them. And I think WWE realizes that and would like to stop that and nick it in the butt right while they can. And I mean, I don't know if I really blame them for it because they're the big dog in town. They can do all this stuff, and there ain't nothing New Japan can really do about it. But as for it overall being good for wrestling, I don't know. But here's the reasons why I think Kenny Omega could be WWE bound, and I'm going to hit both sides here. As I said, they've already rated New Japan last year. They took whatever they wanted. They have the money to bankroll it, so it's not a big deal. And they were definitely trying to put the hurt on New Japan, and I think they did this year. New Japan this year, if they had Nakamura, AJ Styles, Ibushi, and some of the other guys, I think they would have had an even better year. And it seemed like it was an okay year for New Japan. Not as good as before, but overall a pretty good year. Next reason is WWE is definitely trying to expand right now. You could notice this with the Cruiserweight Classic, all the various indie guys they've signed, 205 Live, NXT, and such. WWE is signing everybody and anyone right now. It seems, no matter what you look like, you got a shot at being signed by WWE if you're good enough. So, I mean, of course, WWE would definitely be interested in Kenny Omega. He has a good look. Some people think he's a good wrestler. I don't. I can go into that another day. But yeah, so I mean, WWE's trying to recruit people, and right now you got to think the hottest free agent's probably Kenny Omega, and I don't really blame him for having interest in that. WWE has a lot of cards to fill right now. They're kind of taking on Ring of Honor and other indies, one-on-one during WrestleMania weekend shows by having NXT. And, they got endless shows to fill, and they can find a place for someone. The next point is that WWE has a much bigger bankroll than New Japan. New Japan was in bankruptcy a few years ago, so they don't have that much money. WWE could offer Kenny Omega $5 million a year if they wanted. New Japan can't match that. I don't even think Okada makes any more than like $1 million a year. So I mean, WWE has an endless bankroll here. They could do whatever they want. They can give him whatever they want, and it's really up to Omega to figure out what's important. They can't compete there, and I think they know it, and WWE definitely knows it. While New Japan can definitely compete in other ways, like their share of the Japanese audience, having good matches, and pushes and stuff, they aren't competing there. While I did list some of the things I thought New Japan could offer better than WWE, WWE as a whole just has a lot more to offer. They tour the whole world, they go everywhere, and every show is just more exposure for Omega. I mean, they go to places like Bangladesh and Japan and Korea, Africa, Middle East, Canada, South America, wherever you want to go, WWE goes. So I mean, they can offer him the world. And I think overall that's good for him because it's just more exposure, more people getting to know who you are. And, they have so much TV all over the world. The Raw airs in almost every country, and you can't beat that kind of exposure. Omega's going to go in there. If he gets on TV, he's now a star in all these various countries, and that means money. That means a whole lot of money, and that's really important. WWE has bigger growth potential. Like I said, they have the whole world. They have stuff like WrestleMania, all the pay-per-views in the network. It's really up to WWE. The world is theirs to do what they want with it, and it's just how good the booking ends up being. And I'd also say, like, at least talent-wise, WWE is no slouch. You know what I mean? They got some of the best wrestlers in the world, along with New Japan. And if you want to have good matches, man, I mean, WWE has the wrestlers. It's just the booking isn't quite always there. All right, so those are the main reasons why I think Kenny Omega could be WWE bound. Now let's go into the reasons why I don't think Kenny Omega is going to go to the WWE. A lot of people took Kenny Omega's tweet about how he's going to step away from Japan seriously, and they took it full face. What he didn't tell you here was that New Japan has Fantastica Mania shows every year with CMLL, and in these shows they bring in a ton of Mexicans and a ton of luchadors in, and it's just so expensive to do this that WWE doesn't. New Japan doesn't really have the money or really the need to bring in extra foreigners. So, typically and historically, WWE has not had those foreigners on the show when they bring in the Mexicans, and I think that's a big reason why he is kind of taking a break, because there ain't no bookings to be had right now. And, I think that's the main reason we're seeing that. Omega has historically been very anti-WWE. He didn't like how he was used in developmental, and he just doesn't seem to like the promotion, and he thinks other promotions are better. So, I do think there has to be some seriousness to that, and he's so open and strong about it that, there's got to be a root to that, and, it definitely could be a big reason why he is not going to be WWE bound. Another reason is that I thought New Japan has treated Omega pretty well. A lot of people might not remember, but they took him from DDT, where he was one of DDT's biggest foreign stars before, along with El Generico. New Japan historically didn't do that. A lot of the companies in Japan, they're not like the U.S., where people, back in the day with WCW, people would just jump ship. People usually just stay within their company, and that's historically been how it was. It truly wasn't until people like Omega and Ibushi came along that New Japan wanted to break that and go a little bit further, and I think that just shows that they were interested in the guy and saw the potential. Omega's going to be safe in New Japan. He's going to be a top star for a while. He's going to be the top foreigner probably as long as he wants. So there's really no risk in staying in New Japan. He's pretty safe there. So, if he wants security, New Japan's a great place to go. He's going to be their top foreigner if he wants it. So, overall, it's, in that point, it's pretty good. The last reason I think is because there's really no guarantees in WWE. We saw people like Mystico fail, even though he was one of the top superstars in the world. We saw Alberto Del Rio fail. We've seen Nakamura waste his time in NXT, and we've seen Hideo Itami not even make the main roster yet in WWE. So the success rate, especially with people from non-WWE, really isn't strong, whether you go down to even past WCW guys like Goldberg and Booker T and all that. They really never got the most that they could have out of other people's stars, and there's just no guarantee it's going to work in Mexico. In WWE. WWE might decide, hey, he's not big enough, or hey, we don't like his personality backstage, or hey, we need to push Roman Reigns. There's no guarantee. And what happens is, if he goes there and they start jobbing him out, he's going to lose his worth. He's not going to be the big-time superstar anymore. He's just going to be a mid-carder. And I don't know if he's ready to take that risk. WWE can be great for your career because you can get exposed to the whole world, but it could be pretty bad. You take someone like Santino Marella, he was a decent wrestler, but he's going to be a jobber forever. Someone like Mystico, they torched his brand here, and, no matter what, he's not worth as much as he used to be. So, I think that's a good reason to maybe not go to WWE. My take overall is that while it's really not clear where he's going now, WWE has a lot more to offer than New Japan does. And, at the end of the day, he can always go back to New Japan. He might not be able to go back to WWE because, I don't think Omega's that great. I've said that before. I don't think I think he has a great look, good body, charisma. He has it. I think he has all the pieces, but I don't think he knows how to put them together yet. And I think in a world where people like Finn Balor exist and Seth Rollins, he offers a lot of the same things that those guys do. And I don't know if what he offers is really that different or worth the extreme amount of money that, it would take. So, if I were him, I probably would go with WWE. I'd get it all in writing. I'd say, hey, I'm going to be pushed here. I'm going to be pushed there. You're going to pay me this amount, and I'm allowed to leave if it doesn't work out. And that's the way I would do it. I would not be jobbing on TV to Bo Dallas or Randy Orton or whatever like that. I would be a total jerk and be saying, hey, this is the way it's going to be. You got to play to me. I don't got to play to you. And I think that's what he's going to need to do if he thinks about going there. So, I mean, if he acts like that, I think he can make it in WWE, and I think he'll be worth more when he leaves. But if he lets them just run over him, they will run over him, and he'll be worthless in the end. And at the end of it, New Japan might not even want him back. That's a possibility as well. So, Kenny Omega, he's got all the chips right now. He has WWE and NJPW on his tail. He's got all the bargaining power. He's got the tools. It's really up to him to make the best decision possible. But, if I were him, I would use this to get as much money as I could and to grow my brand as much as I could, because this is where, this is as good as it's going to get for him. All right, everybody. So I hope you appreciated my thoughts here. And if you want to check out more and lots of wrestling reviews, check out www.prowresblog.blogspot.com. Thank you.